Same background stamp, two completely different cards. Sounds impossible, right? Well, let me show you how. In today's video, I'm taking one background stamp and transforming it into two totally unique designs, each with its own style, mood, and personality. Hello, crafty friends. I'm Revati, and welcome to my crafty space. Today, we will be playing with some simple techniques, a bit of creativity, and few small tweaks that make a huge difference. I'll be using some fun products from the latest In My Heart release by Simon Stamp. Here's a look at some gorgeous products from the new spring release, and trust me, from Mother's Day to Easter, you don't want to miss this one. Now, first up, we have this beautiful big basket weave stencil. It's a 6 by 6 inch stencil that creates a stunning woven background with interlocking stripes and rectangles. You can even use it to mimic a brick wall pattern, which makes it super versatile for so many designs. Next, we have this gorgeous set of nesting dies called the Scalloped Arches Frame die. Now, this set includes 4 dies, each featuring a beautiful arch shape with that delicate scalloped edge. They are perfect for layering, framing your focal points, or adding soft, elegant touch to your card designs. You can use these to create a beautiful scene, design a shaker window, or layer them up for that gorgeous scalloped frame detail. Next up, and honestly one of my favorites from this entire release, is this adorable duckling die. I mean, how cute is this little guy? Now, this set includes 3 pieces that cut out a sweet little duckling, complete with a tiny beak and those adorable webbed feet. Now, I guess this would be perfect for your spring and Easter cards, baby projects, or even everyday scenes where this little duckling can truly shine as the main focal point of your card. You can cut all the pieces from white cardstock and add color using ink blending or alcohol markers, or cut each of those layers from different colored cardstocks and simply layer them up. After that, we have a beautiful sentiment set which is called the Bereavement Thank Yous. This is by CZ Designs. It includes a collection of thoughtful, heartfelt sentiments designed to help you express gratitude to those who supported you during difficult times. I think this set is especially perfect for sympathy follow up cards or any kind of note of appreciation. Now, messages like thank you for your kindness during this difficult time, it's appreciated more than you know. And there's one which says, thank you for your thoughts and prayers during this challenging time. I think these would work beautifully on the inside of your cards. And the best part, this set does come with coordinating dies that cut out each of these sentiments perfectly. We also have little sub sentiments like with love or with gratitude from bottom of our hearts. I think these are beautiful sentiments that can go either on your card front or even on the inside of your cards. Next, we have this absolutely gorgeous background stamp. This is the Gerbera Daisy background stamp, and this is the stamp set that we'll be using for our projects today. I absolutely love floral stamps, especially ones like this one that give me so many creative possibilities. You can use them with a variety of techniques to achieve completely different looks, just like we'll be doing in our video today. And last but not the least, we have the Reverse Friendship XL Easy Strips. Now, these are ready made sentiment strips with black background and crisp white text. What makes these extra special is that they are printed on toner sheets, so you can add foil to them for a beautiful shiny finish. I absolutely love the sentiments included here, and they are large enough to be used as standalone sentiments for your card fronts. There are also coordinating dies that cut out all of these sentiments in one pass. Now, this one that I have is the rounded edges, but you have square edge, you have banners, you have slanting edges. This is a set of collection that is absolutely perfect. Now, in this pack, you get 4 sheets, so you will have plenty to work with. Simon also offers these easy strips in smaller sizes and for multiple occasions, along with coordinating dies that cut everything out at once. It really makes card making so much more easier, especially when you're short on time or batch creating multiple cards. Honestly, this is one of those products that's all about convenience and definitely a must have in my crafty stash. Now, here's an example of the smaller sheets that I was talking about. This is a smaller print as compared to these XL sentiments. Again, this is the happy birthday reverse easy strips, and we have thank yous, sympathy. You name the occasion, you will have those easy strips on the Simon website. Now, I love how these cut out all the sentiments at once. Now, this is an example of black birthdays printed on white sheet. Again, this is printed using toner, which means you can foil all those beautiful sentiments and create a shiny card front and maybe even a shiny little sentiment strip to pop on your card front. I like to store these in little pouches and keep the sentiments along with the coordinating dies. It just makes everything so much more convenient and easy to find. I also like to cut these strips from plain white cardstocks and stack them behind the sentiment strips. It's a great way to add dimension and pop them up without having to use foam tape. Those were the products from this latest release that I have in my stash, and now let's take a closer look at what we'll be using for our cards today. We have this beautiful Gerbera daisy background stamp and the sentiment stamp that I showed earlier. Today, we will be creating two completely different cards using this one background, each featuring fun techniques that are easy to replicate in a variety of different colors. Now, before I jump into the techniques, I wanted to start off by stamping this absolutely gorgeous background onto A2 size panels, and I stamped them using embossing ink. Now to get started, I placed my panel. This is an A2 size panel. I placed it onto my stamp wheel. Now, since I'll be using a background stamp, I centered the panel instead of aligning it to the edge, which is what I prefer doing. Now you'll notice I added a little masking tape along the top edge of the panel that creates a makeshift edge, which ensures that when I stamp the next panel, everything lines up perfectly and the design is consistent on both of the panels. Next, I placed my background stamp onto the panel and picked it up with my stamp positioning tool's flip plate. Now, since this is the very first time I'm using the stamp, I like to condition it gently by rubbing with my fingers and dusting a little bit of that anti-static powder over the stamp. This helps remove any of the tackiness from the new stamp. Now it's time to emboss. For both the panels, I'm adding embossing powder. On my first panel, I used clear embossing ink and sprinkled white embossing powder over it. This gives a dense, crisp image. Now, when you heat set it, keep your heat gun moving over the panel to make sure it doesn't warp too much. A little tip here is for background stamps like these, which cover the entire panel, use heavyweight cardstock. That makes a huge difference. It handles the heat better and gives smooth embossed finish. Now, because this panel is white on white, it can be hard to see much on camera, but once you start heat embossing, you'll notice the powder melting almost instantly, creating a beautiful glossy finish on your card front. You can clearly see the difference between the areas that are embossed and shiny, raised sections where the embossing powder has fully melted. Once that panel was done, I set it aside and moved on to panel number two. Now I lined it up along our makeshift edge to keep everything consistent. For this panel, I inked it up with my VersaFine Onyx Black ink and added clear embossing powder. The result is that gorgeous, glossy shine that really makes the design pop. For our cards today, we are going to try two different techniques with our background panels. On one of these panels, I'm going to do simple coloring with alcohol markers for a vibrant, controlled look. On the other panel, I'll be using the embossed resist technique, which is one of my absolute favorites for creating quick, beautiful cards with busy backgrounds. And don't forget, you could also stamp this background onto watercolor paper and have fun experimenting with beautiful watercolors for a totally different effect. Now, since this is a larger, more denser background, I like to give the panel a minute or so to let all that heat and melted embossing powder to settle and cool before I start coloring. Now we have one panel with that beautiful tone-on-tone embossing and the other with the crisp black embossing, both ready for their respective techniques. I'm starting with the tone-on-tone panel, and for this one we will be doing the embossed resist technique. We will be ink blending some gorgeous pinks and purples, and the embossed pattern will resist the ink, creating a beautiful glossy daisy background that really pops over that soft blended colors. Now, for those of you who are new to the embossed resist technique, it's here's how it works. You start by stamping your image with the embossing ink and then heat embossing it with a clear or colored embossing powder. Gold would also look absolutely stunning here. Now, when you apply ink or even watercolor over this embossed area, the embossing resists the ink, which means that the ink will only be applied on the parts of the paper where there is no stamped image. So your stamped design stays crisp and glossy while the rest of the background gets the color. It's perfect for busy backgrounds like this one because it lets the pattern shine through without getting lost in all that ink blending. You can play with any colors you love, bright, soft, bold, and it instantly turns your stamped panel into a card-worthy background. For both my cards today, I'm sticking with purple and pink theme. For this embossed resist card, I'm using amethyst, orchid, watermelon, and carnation from my positively saturated ink collection. As I blend colors over the panel, you'll notice I wipe most of the ink off the embossed line. Now this lets the glossy embossed design shine through while the soft blended colors fill the background, creating a beautiful contrast between that smooth inked areas and the raised shiny daisies. Now that's why I said in the beginning that just like we used white embossing powder here, gold would absolutely look stunning too. And just like that, our ink blended embossed resist background is almost ready. Wasn't that quick and simple? This is exactly why I love this technique. It's perfect for mass producing cards in a bunch of different color combinations. But of course, we can't leave it plain. We need some splatters. I brought this panel over to my splatter box and added a mix of gold and black splatters. I love how the black really pops against that soft ink blended background while the glossy white embossed daisies stay bright and crisp. While the splatters on this first panel are drying, let's move on to panel number two, which is our gorgeous black embossed panel. Now for this one, I'll be using my Ohuhu alcohol markers in different shades of pinks and purples. You could definitely color the entire background if you wanted a fully vibrant look, but I decided to focus on coloring a few selected flowers in a row, leaving some of them black and white. This creates a beautiful contrast and lets the colored blooms really stand out. I used the same set of pinks and purples across all the flowers, but I varied how I apply the color to each petal. This subtle variation gives each of those flowers its own personality, which adds depth and interest to the entire design. Now, once I was done finishing all the coloring of the flowers, I also added a couple of different shades of greens to color in a few of the leaves around the colored flowers, leaving the rest of the panel as is. This way, certain flowers and leaves really pop, while the black and white background provides a striking contrast that makes the finished card look elegant and dynamic. You could definitely go bold with your colors and give each flower a different shade, creating a vibrant, colorful bouquet. Now, this panel is also perfect for stamping directly onto a 6 by 6 inch panel. I'd even frame it up for a beautiful piece of wall art. And if you're someone who wants to practice no line coloring, this stamp is a must have. The repeating flower pattern gives you a lot of practice opportunities so you can experiment with shading, blending, and color combinations until you get the look you want. Here's a look at my final colored panel that I'll be using for the card. I just love how that line of vibrant flowers really pops against the black and white uncolored blooms. The contrast is absolutely stunning. Now you can also use this panel in any orientation you like, whether you want to create a landscape or a portrait card. This design is absolutely versatile. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the two panels, the one we colored with our alcohol markers and the one we did using the embossed resist technique. I just love how one single stamp set can give me two completely different card panels, one stamp, totally different looks, and both look so beautiful. Initially, I had planned to use just a stamp set for my sentiments, but I really wanted to show you how versatile the easy sentiment strips are. Now, this one here is the Excel Easy Sentiments. These are big, bold sentiments that work perfectly as standalone elements on your card fronts. For the embossed resist panel, I am using one of these strips. I lined it up with the coordinating die, which lets you cut out all the sentiments at once in one single pass, so quick and easy. Now, if you don't have the coordinating dies, no worries, you can always trim each strip individually with a paper trimmer or scissors. I also love the rounded edges on these strips. They add so much character and really finish off the card beautifully. All of these strips are friendship themed sentiments, and for the embossed resist card, I decided to go with the Thinking of You sentiment strip. It's such a lovely, thoughtful touch over that perfectly ink blended background. The sentiment coordinates beautifully with the black splatters and also provides a striking contrast against the soft blended colors, tying the whole card together. I was also thinking about using one of those easy sentiment strips for our colored panel because I really love the white print on the black strip. It's such a bold design and definitely makes the sentiment pop. But for this card, I decided to go with a sentiment from the Thank Yous stamp set, and I chose the phrase that reads, "Thank you for the flowers, we appreciate you." I felt it paired perfectly with the floral background and added a personal and thoughtful touch. Now, to give it a similar look as the easy strips, I stamped the sentiment onto a piece of black cardstock and heat embossed it with white embossing powder. It creates that same bold, crisp contrast that really draws the eyes towards our sentiment and also towards that beautiful floral image in the background. Once the sentiments were ready, I added foam tape to both of them and popped them up onto their respective card panels. This gives the cards dimension and makes the sentiments stand out even more, tying the whole design together beautifully. I love how these cards turned out. The busy backgrounds really stand out on their own, and honestly, you don't need any additional focal images or die cut pieces to embellish them, be it that beautiful, bold black and white along with the colored panel or the soft ink blended panel. Now, before mounting the panels onto card bases, I decided to stamp the sentiment on the inside of my cards as well. Now I have a top folding A2 size card base and I placed it on my stamping platform and stamped the sentiment which says, "Thank you for your kindness during this difficult time. It is appreciated more than you know." I did a bit of partial stamping here and used the same exact pink and purple inks to tie it to the colors on the card front. This really shows how versatile this small stamp set can be. Not only is it perfect for your card fronts, but also ideal for adding a thoughtful, personalized message inside your cards. This partial stamping not only ties the colors of the card front and the inside together, but it also creates a beautiful ombre effect across the sentiment. Here I'm using pink and purple, but you could absolutely experiment with different shades of inks, either from the same color family or completely different ones. It's a simple trick that instantly adds depth and a custom artistic touch to the insides of your cards as well. Just a few finishing touches, and we can call these cards done. I added some positively dazzling gems to either side of the sentiment strips for a little extra sparkle. For card number two, I also added a bit of shimmer to the colored flowers using my glitter brush pen. And with that, both cards are complete. Simple, elegant, and full of fun techniques that really make the background shine. And there you have it, two completely different cards using just one beautiful background stamp. I love how versatile this stamp is, letting you create a soft ink blended embossed resist card design and a bold, colorful alcohol marker look on the other. Both are quick, fun, and perfect for a variety of different occasions. If you enjoyed these techniques, you'll definitely want to check out Simon's new In My Heart release. There are so many more gorgeous products that pair beautifully with these designs and are perfect for your spring and friendship cards. I hope this inspires you to try both techniques and play with the colors in your own projects. Now, I will be sure to list down all the supplies that I used to create these projects down in the description box below. Please note that all of those links are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.